Hey you guys, it's Jen. So I am actually just walking out of the George Mason and NVAR event that was talking all about the fun, yes, Amazon discussion and housing and how is it impacting the greater DC and Arlington markets, because we're all so curious about it. And I thought that I would share with you, hey Frank, hope you're having a good time tonight. Actually, if you're in there, I didn't see ya. But I wanted to step out because I was hearing like overarching themes that I thought were super important. And there were things that I think that I've touched on a couple of times when I've talked to my clients and some of you guys personally. And I think it's so important that we talk about these things because I think that there's this like frenzy and this buzz that people keep going on and on about. It is so important that we understand that we as a region are not going to feel the impacts really of this buzz about Amazon right now. Really, we're not. And it's interesting because there was a woman named Danielle Hale. She's actually with Realtor.com. And hey, James, hope you're having a good day. They were talking about that, yes, we're seeing these like buzzwords like Amazon and National Landing and all these things in Crystal City all of a sudden are being used like over and over in listings to see if it's going to incite like higher price points happening. And Danielle, who's with Realtor.com, was looking at trends across the region, and it might have like spiked some interest in shoppers, but then like it happened like kind of like the first couple of days that Amazon had made their announcement, and then the spike like went down all of a sudden. So it's very interesting to see that. And one of the other discussions that we've had like quite frequently with our clients recently is that this isn't going to happen like overnight, you guys. This is going to happen over the course of like 10 to 16 years. And it's not just like 25,000 jobs that we're going to see. It's going to be like more like 38,000 jobs. And this is also going to be something that's going to not just hyper locally impact Arlington, but it's going to impact Alexandria. So one of the interesting things, I'm going to look down at my notes, that Jeanette Chapman, who's with George Mason Schar School, had mentioned that we are very, very similar yet different, which I know is like the most vague thing to say about Seattle. So they looked at the housing study between Seattle and our region, and we are actually much more equipped here in our region to shoulder all of the housing that will be needed in our area. And the other thing that we've been talking a lot about is that most of the people that are going to be working for Amazon when they come through are not going to be imported, if that makes sense. They're either already going to be here, or the interesting thing is that 65% of all of the people that come to work in our region in the professional jobs are people that take jobs in the $150,000 income, like wage earners in the $150,000 area. Those folks generally are brought into our area. So this is not anything new that we will see in our area. So that's really not going to impact us in the way that we think that it will. So that was a very interesting thing to hear. So something that Danielle from Realtor.com had mentioned is that the average wage earner that will come to work for Amazon will probably be earning the potential to be able to purchase in the $750,000 to $800,000 price point for a home, and most of them will be wanting to buy, not rent. So the last gentleman who, Sandy Paul, that was talking about the impact on the rental market, that was quite interesting. He was talking about that there are 4 projects that are approved in the Crystal City market, and I thought that was quite interesting because right now the people that live in the National Landing Crystal City area, that is 72% of the population over there already rent. So that was interesting. So there's not really going to be much of a shift in that hyperlocal area, but where we will probably see most of the change throughout our region will be in Arlington itself, and Alexandria City, and then in Fairfax. Fairfax will likely see the most people trying to buy in that area because they will have the most housing stock available, which was interesting. So that I wanted to share. Ben Sage from Metro Study was talking about new construction and new construction starts. We talked a little bit about Alexandria City, Arlington, Fairfax, and how the price points will probably be in Alexandria City about $950,000. There are 7 current projects slated that will bring about 452 new units to the area. In Arlington, $850,000 will likely be the price point, with 4 projects that are currently approved, with about 108 units that will become available. And in Fairfax, there weren't as many detached units, but the price point was about $730,000, which is quite interesting to see. So wanted to share these things. He said that builders were wanting to be closer in, not necessarily further out, with how we're choosing to move forward in the Amazon kind of situation. Yes, there are things happening behind me right now, but those were things that I thought were pretty interesting about this discussion, that the buzz will normalize over time, just like what Danielle from Realtor.com mentioned, and that we will likely see most of the impact in Alexandria City, Arlington, and then Fairfax, and not so much in Loudoun that most people had originally anticipated. So those are the things that I wanted to share with you guys. And again, this is not necessarily going to all happen at once. It's going to happen over the course of years, and that's actually a really good thing. And I thought it was really interesting when Sandy from that was discussing the actual renters, he mentioned that the biggest takeaway that we should think about for having this opportunity in our region is that we are bringing tech talent and a hiring pipeline that will last over a very long course of time. So those are some really good things to think about, you guys. So I just wanted to discuss those things. If you have any other questions, I have like 6 pages of notes and a bunch of pictures with slides. So I'm happy to share them if you're interested, and wanted to give you some perspective after listening to some subject matter experts here at George Mason tonight, talking from the Shar School, as well as Realtor.com, as well as our friends from Hey Mary Rita. So we had some really great folks that had really interesting opinions across the board, that how it's impacting the region as a whole and over the course of time. So thought it would be really great to get that information out to you, and that's what we got. Bye, guys.